Good afternoon and welcome into today's game. About 10 minutes away from first pitch here for Trinity and Concordia in a midweek battle. Just a little bit of audio testing, and we'll be back before the first pitch here momentarily. Good afternoon and welcome here into Trinity University in San Antonio, Texas, as we are just about ready to begin our Tuesday night matchup with Concordia. Both of these teams coming off of a conference series loss. Concordia last time out took the first game from Hendricks before dropping their second and third game of the series, and Trinity doing the same at Oglethorpe, winning on Friday and dropping a doubleheader on Saturday. Trinity, of course, right back onto a plane after they get done with this game, going back to where they just came from in Atlanta. They'll be out to play Barry next in Georgia, so kind of a weird schedule, almost a road game, home game here for the Tigers. It'll be Paul Nathanson out on the mound for Trinity, and we'll take a quick look at the Tornadoes lineup, which will feature Colton McDaniel, Samuel Ortiz, Kalen Clark, and then highlighted by the cleanup hitter Landon Heil, third in the nation in hits. Jet Warner, Bo Dinscore, Logan Smith, and Hunter Smith in the 7 and 8 spots, and then Carson Riley in the 9 spot. And for Trinity, Nathanson getting a start. He's only thrown one inning on the season, and so the numbers pretty inflated, but you see 2 strikeouts of those 3 outs that he has gotten. Also allowed 5 walks and a hit as well during his 2026 campaign. So we'll see how the Minnesota native does here starting the midweek spot. I'm Josh Michigamba, and I'm joined by Shepard Tyler. Cole Isaacson has class here on a Tuesday night, and he'll be joining us next series. Shepard, how's it going?
Going good. Expecting good things from Paul here today. He's going to want to bring that ERA down. Hopefully he can get an extended outing here today. It'd be a nice antithesis to his short outings that we've seen in the past from him.
And looks like we are just about ready to go with McDaniel. That first pitch will miss up and out. As McDaniel, 293 on the season.
And it'll be interesting to see what Coach Dave Smith does today, if he's going to try and make it more of a bullpen day or if he's going to hope that Paul can go the distance and cover a majority of these innings.
And of course, this week, got Easter coming up, so the schedule kind of different for the conference games at the end of the week. They're going to go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I believe, trying to get those in and get back out. Yeah, so it kind of changes the whole complexity of everything. So instead of playing, I think, Friday, Saturday, I think they're going to try for Thursday, Friday, and then be back on a plane. But you've got to keep a day open just in case you've got to play. So that one kind of loops back up the middle, and Nathanson will field and retire the leadoff man, McDaniel. And it'll be quickly one down. So a better start than what we've seen out of Nathanson in his relief appearances.
Definitely. It's a pretty athletic play from Paul. It's impressive. You rarely see pitchers making athletic plays like that, but give it to him.
So Ortiz will step in. Samuel out of New Braunfels Canyon. Well, he liked it the first time. Draw another one. And quickly there's 2 1-3s, and Concordia quietly here through the first to start.
Reminds me of that pitcher that pitched in the Cy Young era, the Rube. He would send in the infield and the outfield and just face the batters alone. Just might see Paul just do that here.
It looks like he's getting ready to go, but moment of waiting as Kalen Clark will step in. 372 on the season, 25 RBI, 30 runs scored, and 5 homers. Getting to the heart of this Tornado lineup, and one of the better hitting teams in the entire country as far as hits go. Second in the SCAC as far as overall record and conference record, although they are in a fight for second place. And I believe that the conference only still takes 4 in the SCAC. So that one will be popped up And quick 1-2-3 inning here for Paul Nathanson. So Tigers have found some success with their Tuesday starters. Tate Johnson against TLU a couple of weeks ago, and early on here, 1-2-3 inning for Paul Nathanson. We'll be back here for the bottom of the first and go through the Trinity lineup in just a bit. And welcome back. You see the lineup. Caleb Woodward, Thomas Moss, Will Baker, Grant Anderson, Jack Henning, Jack Spence, Calfane Coney, Michael Listina, and Cam Champness. So Tigers sending out a bunch of usual faces here on the Tuesday start. And they got a quick 1-2-3 inning from Paul Nathanson, and they will be tasked to go up against today's starter. And Gabe Gutierrez, 2-1 on the season, 8 innings pitched, so a little bit more than what Nathanson's seen, but still looking to find something here in the 2026 campaign and start off with one of the Tigers' best hitters, and Caleb Woodward hitting .472, and pretty solid number, but doesn't qualify nationally for average because he doesn't have enough at-bats yet, so it'll be interesting to see where he would fully rank individually. Concordia going with the all-black today. It's the Tigers on the white pins, and 2 pitches and a ground ball to second. And this one's moving fairly smoothly so far. I'll bring up Thomas Moss. Moss getting the start behind the dish today, probably giving some relief to Matthias Ridding, as he's got the job of the conference catching. And like we said, not a whole lot of turnaround. Played Friday, Saturday. I think the team just got back. Was it late yesterday or even today?
I'm not sure, but I know it was pretty recent.
I know.
It's a pretty quick turnaround.
I saw some of the guys bringing in luggage today, so I didn't know if they had just gotten back, maybe even early this morning, or if it was last night. I thought they were trying to fly out on Sunday, so maybe it was just a few of them that couldn't get on certain flights. A little bit of a crazy change for what Trinity's doing in conference compared to previous years where they were in the SCAC like Concordia is and able to take a bus to pretty much everywhere that they had to play. 2-1, and Moss sends this one out on a line, and it is gone. So last Tuesday, two weeks ago Tuesday, I think it was, Calfane Coney led off Trinity with a bottom of the first home run against TLU, and now we get a bottom of the first home run from Thomas Moss.
Those early home runs. I'm sure the Tigers love to see that. Get some offense going early.
It was Coney, the first one out to greet him. Take another look at where the location was. A little up and in, and he liked it.
Yeah, that's a really good job turning on that pitch. It's Pretty high and inside. Difficult one to get to be honest, but I'm surprised he was able to turn on that and send it over the fence.
So now with a 1-0 lead, Will Baker. Tigers not lacking for offense over the weekend. They put up some pretty good games. The middle game, a little bit low, only 2 runs, but able to score double digits in the second game of that doubleheader on Saturday, but still fell. So it's not necessarily a lack of offense, although at times it feels like the offense isn't in sync with the pitching. And Baker will send that one up the middle and through the left side. Past the dive of Logan Smith, and almost out of nowhere, Baker hustling around and making that into a double.
It's a pretty quick first baseman there.
And take another look at, again, not necessarily a ball like right down the middle, but just Gutierrez trying to work the corners inside and outside there to Baker. That one a little bit low and away, and he just kind of went with it.
It's a good job by the Tigers lineup early on here, just doing what they can with the pitches they're given.
First pitch into Grant Anderson, misses low, and 418 on the year for Anderson. Has a guy in scoring position.
And this is a dangerous spot to be in with a hitter like Anderson. He's known to send him a long way, especially in big spots like this, and he's got a runner in scoring position with only 1 out.
OPS just under 1,000 right now. And he's worked his way into an ideal count here, although, sure, he'll have the red light here on 3-0. Very rare that Trinity hitters get the green light at 3-0. It's been a while since I've seen somebody. And taking all the way. Now goes from make you throw a strike to what could be one of the hardest pitch counts. We've talked about this in the past. Little chopper rolled over to the shortstop. And Smith with a good throw and a bit of contact at first. And nothing doing after all of that. So Anderson must have quickly been like, hey, my bad.
Yeah, Anderson's a great guy. I can't imagine him ever purposefully trying to run into someone and knock him off balance. So I'm sure he was very quick to apologize and make amends.
Now Jack Henning will step in. 2 down. Base hit should score Baker, especially with the speed he showed getting to second. And this one lifted and sent away, but it'll be camped out underneath by Hunter Smith. And Smith's doing a lot of the work in that inning defensively here for Concordia. But it was a leadoff home run, or not a leadoff, it was a bottom of the first home run here for Thomas Moss to put the Tigers on top in the first inning. Top of the second inning, and Landon Heil will step in. And Heil, 440 on the season, now with 6 home runs. That's 6 home runs, good enough for 45th in the nation. So this one is fouled off and out of play. Not on the roof today. Wasn't sure how we were going to fare on the Tuesday night. A lot of classes here at Trinity on Tuesday night, so that's why Cole's out tonight. And it actually looks like maybe we had a out recorded on that last one, as we are now up to Jet Warner. So first pitch, 1 out. And now the 1-0 to Warner. So that must have been a foul out.
The tree kind of blocked it a little bit, our angle from the broadcast booth.
And this one sent foul. So now 2-1. Yeah, so I wasn't sure if we'd have enough people to run switchboard and graphics and everything else. So we set up down here in the control room. Normally have the announcing up on the thing, but Tuesday night schedules really leaving us for a bit of a short staff today. Won't see it tonight, but Trinity installing the new pitch clocks on the season. And this one's sent over and looks like it's out of play. Yeah, got to see that one bounce. So.
Oh, there you go.
Well, assume that that's not another out. Now it runs the count full. Warner 313 on the season. Dinscore will be up next. And Paul Nathanson with a great job to lower the ERA that he had coming into this game. He only had 1 inning pitched officially. And that missed high. Wonder what ABS would have thought of that pitch.
It's a little on the higher end of breaking balls where you want to leave them. It's actually a pretty dangerous location, especially for a good hitter like Heil. Breaking ball up in the zone. He didn't want it.
And now the first runner aboard is Warner, and this will bring up Dinscore up.
I'm sure Nathanson is wishing he threw that pitch in the last at-bat, because that was a very nice breaking ball in there. Right above the knees. It's a good spot.
Quickly ahead, and that one fouled straight back. 2 home runs on the season for Dinscore, and he's got 12 hits, also 12 strikeouts. So
a great job by Nathanson to get back quickly ahead in this at-bat, contrasting the last at-bat.
Especially after that walk. That is going to be on the ground to Baker. He fumbles around, but Nathanson will cover, so they don't get the double play. But they do get an out, and the runner advances the second, so still runner aboard for the Tornadoes. And the turf still eating up Trinity infielders here.
How about Paul Nathanson making a case for pitcher's athleticism, getting over there pretty quickly and getting the out.
Logan Smith fouls off the first pitch. Smith 310 on the year. And it's an ahead 0-1 to the shortstop. He goes opposite way, but it's going to be just foul.
You mentioned earlier this Concordia team, very good hitters down the lineup, and Nathanson doing a good job here early on, not giving him easy stuff to hit. I know he wants to give him strikes. He doesn't want to have a ton of walks, but also with a good hitting team like this, you can't just give him strikes.
And that one will get past Moss, so Warner down to third. probably doesn't change too much. I think a single would have scored Warner anyway with 2 outs. So, unless it's one of those weird infield singles. And the 1-2 to Logan Smith. That's ball 2, and that will allow the run to come across. Moss couldn't find it. And that is now 1-1. So I guess it did do a lot of damage.
Did change a little bit. Because now, I almost said it before that pitch. Going to have to be more careful here on a.
I just wouldn't have thought that you, like after he got crossed, maybe he got crossed up on the first one, but after you miss one in the dirt, just wouldn't think you'd come right back to that type of a pitch. But that's what they did in 2-2. And this one's sent on a line. And that'll be right at Grant Anderson, who fires over to Will Baker. And the damage done, though. They do come back. They tie the game here at 1 in the top of the second. And Tigers will be back here in the bottom half. Yeah, welcome back. And you see it is a Tuesday night game here in San Antonio. Travis Brick now on for the second inning here to face the Tigers, and potential that we're going to see a bullpen game all day here from the Tornadoes. And lefty will have a lefty up, and Jack Spence. Spence getting the start today, seeing limited action here for Trinity this year. 455 on his season. First pitch rolled up the middle, be taken by Smith. And first pitch, or second pitch for Brick will get an out. So 4 1/3 innings, now 4 2/3 innings for Brick.
And that's always what you want to do after your offense gets some runs or a run, ties up the game. You want to come out and get a quick out, keep rolling.
Kalfani Coney stepping in. Average dipped below 300 here the last couple of days, but had quite a week 2 weeks ago where hit 3 home runs, one against TLU on the Tuesday night game, and then started off conference play against Millsaps with a pair of home runs. He's got 4 on the year.
And he's definitely made it clear to everyone that's seen him play, when he gets a hold of it, it goes a long way.
A good type of bat to have, especially for Trinity, even if you're not, as they're going to get an engagement call here, have him engage with the batter before they continue on. It's the kind of guy you really want to have where you can play him in games like this, but also like in crucial moments as the season gets a little tighter, You're going to want that kind of a bat off the bench. Different types of games. Maybe a spark, pinch hit.
Definitely a guy that can get it going, get a roll started.
Swing and a miss, and they're 2 down. I'll bring up Listina. Senior batting in the 8th spot. The DH today. We'll have to see if Brick is just in for the 1 inning. His location and ability to miss bats here in the 2nd inning has been pretty solid. Starts off Listina 0-1, and this one will be a fly ball out to McDaniel. No, excuse me. It'll go to Heil over and right. And that'll be a quick bottom of the 2nd. And we'll go to the 3rd, still tied at 1 here in San Antonio. Welcome back. Top of the 3rd. Paul Nathanson still out there rolling here for the Tigers. Hasn't allowed a hit in his first 2 innings, but did allow a walk that came around and scored, primarily off of 2 pass balls, wild pitches. Hunter Smith steps in. Left fielder hitting .256. Batting in the 8th spot here today. Normally number 2, but wearing 47. A chopper back to Nathanson. The 3rd time through 8 batters he's had a chopper right back to him. And he gets the first out of the inning.
Not just that, he's had a couple instances where he's had to run over to first, so he's really making a case for us pitchers and our athleticism or lack thereof.
Bring up the battery mate to the pitchers. Carson Riley behind the dish today here for Tornadoes.
And told you this earlier, but I actually played with Carson Riley in high school. We were on the same select team. Caught me a couple times.
Liberty Hill up there in Austin area.
Yeah, we practiced at his high school field, actually. And looks like a 98 from Paul on the gun there.
Get those glitches fixed.
So
You got some accurate data coming in. That one looks more like 86. That'll be out to Woodward in center, and he ranges over.
maybe Nathanson just reached back for that one a little bit more.
That'd be quite the change in velocity. Randomly go up and find 10 miles an hour on your fastball. McDaniel chopped back to Nathanson here to start us off back in the first. So he's 0 for 1.
It's like another Liberty Hill guy.
It's the thing about, especially Division III here in Texas, you're going to have a lot of, Trinity fills out their roster from all over the country, but a lot of players here in the high school ranks in Texas. A lot of good players that can play at the college level. And that one will be roped into right, or just over Coney's head in second. And so a runner aboard. First hit of the day. So Nathanson's able to go through the order the entire first way, allowed just a walk, retiring 8 of the 9 batters. And then the second time through, McDaniel gets on base via the first hit. That'll lead us to Ortiz, who also grounded back out. And Ortiz passing by his high school on the way down here. I'm assuming Concordia probably took 35. Maybe they took the toll road, went through Seguin. I don't know. But from New Braunfels.
My mom's from Seguin.
Yeah.
They have the world's biggest pecan.
They do. Right there, right in the Central Plaza. Wouldn't recommend eating it. Big hack, swing and a miss, 1-1.
Pretty big lead over at first. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it there.
Baker thought he might have had it there, but that one looked like McDaniel just got back in under the swipe. See the umpire just edging into the frame. And I believe they're going to be called a balk.
Might not have come set enough.
And so that'll move McDaniel into scoring position. And this is where Nathanson had trouble an inning ago. Runner into scoring position, 2 down. And that one's going to be lifted and not caught. So Jack Henning tried to make the catch, looking into the sun, and unable to come up with it. So that will allow the run to score. And Concordia now with a 2-1 lead.
That's frustrating because earlier when that happened, the runner on second, he threw that breaking ball. It squirted by, so here he was seemingly didn't want to let it land in a place where it might squirt by, and it just left it into hittable of a location.
Yeah, it looked like it just hit right into the palm of the glove and bounced out. And as you said, the breaking ball just kind of left up a little bit so it could be driven.
That will probably go down as an error for Henning in right field, but that still is a really difficult catch to make. I mean, you're coming up on it, trying to judge whether or not you should let it fall, and with the runner in scoring position, you're tempted to want to try and make the catch. And
yeah, especially with 2 outs. If you make the catch, the inning's over, and you're holding to the 1-1 lead, or the 1-1 tie still.
And if you don't make the catch, if you let it fall and just keep it in front of you, then you have a runner on first and third, and you give up a hit for Nathanson. So it's a difficult trade-off.
Well, it will be a single into right field, officially scored, at least for now.
I thought they might do that because that was in that spot where most people would just try and let that fall. It was a pretty impressive play if he would have come down with it, because very difficult to get under that one.
Now Clark ahead 2-1. And this one is driven far and back to left, and it is a 4-1 game for Concordia, and Trinity's 2 outs problems continue. Concordia with all 4 runs coming with 2 out here in this one. Tigers giving up multiple runs in the 9th inning against Oglethorpe with 2 outs. Just can't find a way to get out of the inning. And you see Clark.
It's frustrating because we mentioned it earlier. His breaking ball was working for him really well early on in this game, but a couple pass balls and seems to be a bit of nerves with letting that ball, that breaking ball, get low or high with nerves of it squirting by the catcher, Thomas Moss. So he's left 2 breaking balls in kind of a very hittable location. Let's see if he can work back here and start placing them a little bit better.
We'll bring up Heil, 0 for 1 on the day. He fouled out to Grant Anderson, completely out of view from us on 1 pitch back in the 2nd inning.
And breaking balls are one of those pitches that the way that it spins, if you hit it in the right spot, they travel a long time. A lot of my coaches told me those are the best pitches to try and send over the fence because they go really far because of the way they spin off of the bat. So as a pitcher, you need to be very careful when throwing them. They can be very useful, but if you leave them in too hittable of a location, it can be very dangerous for a guy on the mound.
And a good 2-1 pitch there from Nathanson and get us to the 2-2 count. And this is where I feel that Trinity's had some issues. But Nathanson able to come back and get the strikeout on Heil. So it's got Heil 0-2 against them, but Concordia doing damage elsewhere. And we'll take one more look at Clark's big shot. Put him ahead. 4-1, and we'll be back in just a bit. Third inning, third pitcher, Jake Garcia in. You see 4 1/3 so far this year, 3 strikeouts, 4 walks. And he gets the task of facing the 9-1-2 spots here in the Tiger order. We're going to start off with Cam Champness. Champness getting the start today. The shortstop settles in. First pitch swinging, he gets underneath it, pops it up, but it'll be out of play.
And this is what most people mean when they say a bullpen day, is a lot of pitchers cycling through. I know the Trinity definition of a bullpen day is slightly different. It's, we'll go through and see if we can find a guy that can eat up some innings, but this is a true bullpen day.
Yeah. The 9-for-9 challenge. So they can find 9 guys to get 9 innings done. And typically if you can do 1 inning per guy, then you feel pretty good. It's when your guys start to get into trouble, and then you got to start bringing a guy in to close out the inning, and then maybe start him for the next one. That's when things start to go a little sideways. But Champness will fly this one out to center. McDaniel will take care of it. 1 down here in the bottom of the 3rd. And again, these midweek games in the middle of the conference season are a little dicey at times. You want to get them in. You want to try to get the win. You want to do all of that. But primarily, both teams are really focusing on the 3 games they've got ahead of them this weekend. Woodward steps in. He grounded out to second his first time up.
Like you mentioned, it's difficult with these midweek games because for both of these teams, this is not going to be an easy kind of rollover win that you just can kind of roll into the stadium and expect to get a win. They're both very competitive teams. So trying to stay focused in the here and now is definitely very important.
And of course, Trinity falling out of the national rankings with their loss, the series loss to Oglethorpe. That'll typically do it. And Woodward will get plunked, although they do come in still receiving a few votes. They'll be unranked, receiving votes at 26, so they're the first team out. But it's been quite the roller coaster of a season here for the team. Well, the runner on first, that'll bring up Thomas Moss, who hit his first homer of the season his last time up. And just his 2nd RBI on the year. Garcia will fall behind 1-0.
And Garcia, similar archetype to the pitcher that Moss faced in the first inning. So I can imagine trying to not give anything easy to Thomas Moss here. Don't want a repeat of that first inning.
That one up where that home run pitch was, but on the outside part of the plate. Moss lays off, and now the 3-0 count, so would not expect for him to be looking to swing here. A couple of big pitches coming up here for Garcia. Doesn't get the strike, now 2 aboard. And so that'll prompt a visit out from Concordia's coaching staff. This is what I think what I was mentioning.
You mentioned it earlier.
It's great if you can go 9 for 9, but it's when you run into a little bit of an issue, it's trying to make sure you've got enough guys in the pen, or if you've got guys that can stretch and go longer.
And it's difficult because bullpen days, they're good for what they are, but it's sort of playing the odds a little bit because the odds that you're going to have 9 pitchers on your team that are all having a good day, I mean,
yeah.
Sometimes it's just not your day. And it's still early for Garcia here, but
Yeah, he was 1 pitch from getting out of the inning. Will Baker, 1 for 1. Along with Moss, has the other Tiger hit today. And hit Woodward, walked Moss on 4 pitches, and then that one's low and inside and in the dirt. As a pitcher, you just got to reach back and find confidence from where you don't have it.
This is a difficult spot to be for a guy on the mound facing a good hitter like Baker with 2 runners on and only 1 out. You're going to have to be careful about where you place these pitches.
Throw over to second before we get there. Yeah, I was going to say 2-0 to Baker here. This would be your green light pitch for him to maybe try to find something to tee off on. A double back in the first.
So do you think that the Trinity coaching staff is encouraging Baker here to take a swing if he has one, or like right there, take till he sees a strike?
Take till you see a strike.
Because I don't think we've seen a strike this inning.
I'm trying to remember what.
The Woodward at bat.
Yeah, Woodward was down 1-2 when he got hit. And
Okay.
Then they got Champness to fly out on a 1-1 pitch. So we saw some strikes early on, but that was 8 pitches ago. It's 8 straight balls. And he'll be taking for sure here. There's a strike. So now Baker looking for something in the zone that he can drive. The 3-1. And that one up the middle. It was caught. Mosh tries to retreat back but won't be able to do it. And the double play will get Garcia out of the jam. And we head to the 4th. Trinity still down 4-1. Welcome back. Top of the 4th. And still Nathanson out there for Trinity. And Jet Warner, who got the first hit of the game for Concordia, or the first base runner of the game for Concordia, on a walk, came around to score their first run. Fouls off first pitch. And we'll see if Nathanson tries to go back to his breaking ball and try to see if he can keep it low. Had a couple that were into the dirt but not blocked. And got away to score Warner back in the 2nd inning. And that looked like he kind of went away from throwing the breaking ball down low. We've only seen it left up hanging.
And it's difficult because once you lose confidence in that pitch, it's really difficult to find it again. And hopefully we will see him come back and find more confidence in that pitch again because it was working really well for him early.
That one, a called strike 2 evens the count. That one smoked over to Anderson, blocks it, but it'll hop up over the backside of him, and that should go down as a single. And take another look at the hot shot.
And a good job to knock it down. That's such a difficult play to make for him, but he does knock it down and prevent the double, potentially even a triple.
Yeah, into the gap there, and that'll be it for Nathanson. As you see, he's already exited the mound. Pretty solid start. I mean, give it the home run on the hanging breaking ball, but all the damage done against him was with 2 outs, and I think everything was done with 2 strikes to make it kind of even worse. In a big way. As a pitcher, you obviously were like, if I get to 2 strikes, I want to be able to knock this down and get out of it. But just unable to do so. And it'll be Noah Flanagan coming back in, and we'll rejoin in just a bit after he's warmed up. Welcome back. So Noah Flanagan in 0-1. That was his last time out against Oglethorpe. Won an inning in 2/3. Give up 2 runs on 2 hits. Walked 2, struck out 3, threw 42 pitches in his outing. Getting the start for Trinity. And he's got Dinscore coming in with a runner on. Grounded out to Nathanson in his last at-bat. And so that one line drive that we saw into right field that was credited as a single then makes all of the runs scored against Nathanson earned so far. And if Werner were to come around and score, he'd be earned as well. And he'll get a free pass over to second.
And balls kind of flying around all over the place. And that go. Just get rid of that one.
Yeah. Use that one for BP down the road somewhere. Flanagan looking for his first strike. Won't find it there. It's a 4-pitch walk. And I'll bring up Logan Smith. And that might be it for Flanagan. So let's take a quick break, and we'll be back again. It'll be John McGowan stepping in, 5 innings pitched. His best one coming against Tufts, where he got a strikeout and a double play to get him an innings pitched. But that was over 2 weeks ago. And now he'll have Logan Smith with 2 aboard. Here with nobody out, top of the 4th. Smith tries to lay down the bunt, misses, and it'll be strike 1.
Then I spoke with McGowan a couple days ago about his outings, and he said he was hoping to get more opportunities to be put in the game and show what he can do, because he's had a couple good innings of work, but not a ton of opportunities, and he had a really good fall. So we'll see what he can do here.
So you got Smith coming up, showing bunt on the first 2. As a pitcher, what is your mindset? You got 2 aboard. Do you want the out? Are you willing to give it up? Or are you trying to throw something that – are you looking for maybe a pop-up? I think that would be best case scenario, because I don't know that you're going to strike somebody out on the bunt attempt.
I think you're looking to throw strikes and just try to get it in the zone, because they're giving you an out, right? If they're going to bunt, they're giving you an out. And making a heroic play over to third, trying to get that out of there, like they did there, it's not going to take away the 3 runs that they have on you. So there's no point in trying to make a heroic play when you can just, they're giving you an out, and you trust your pitcher to go out there and get the next couple outs.
Yeah, because you get 1 out, and then if you can find a way to come out and get a strikeout, are we?
And McGowan, really good slider, pretty decent. I think he throws a sinker. So really good movement on his pitches and gets a lot of strikeouts.
I'm not sure what the delay was for, but it'll be Hunter Smith now stepping in. Yeah, because if you get the first out,
Is it a pinch hitter?
still Hunter Smith wearing number 47 today. So I'm wondering if there was a pinch runner at some point.
It's hard to tell from down in the booth.
But if you get that first out, now you can come back, you get a strikeout, and then if you can get a pop fly, you're out of the inning completely. And I know it sounds easy.
Yeah,
but
from our chairs in the booth.
But they were willing to give you an out to move 2 guys 90 feet. So take one of those things. Swings through the hit by pitch.
And as I mentioned earlier, that inside run that he has on that sinker, because it looks like the slider coming out of his hand. He does a really good job on release point. That slider moves a ton. So it looks like from where it starts that it's going to break back in, because it's kind of starting at him. So he reacts to try and turn on the breaking ball, and then it does not break. It goes into the hands.
Right off the hand. And me personally do not love seeing that play. That is how I ended my baseball career. Mine being off of a insane curveball. That one on the top of the hand, so checking to make sure he's still got range of motion and everything else. That's not going to feel good tomorrow.
Definitely not.
Yeah, mine. When I did mine, I hit the side of the wrist, and I stayed in, and went to play outfield afterwards, and they hit a ground ball to left, and I went to put my glove down, and all of a sudden my glove just flopped with my hand, and I was like, oh, I can't feel that at all, and realized that I had completely cracked my wrist and everything else. So hoping for the best here for Smith. Doesn't appear to have any type of, I believe he was wearing a batting glove, and I think he took it off, but I don't know if he was wearing a batting glove with any type of padding.
Looked like he was moving it a little bit, so hopefully not a break of any kind. Just
and the question will be is whether or not he'll stay in or not, and it looks like it will not happen. So it looks like they will go to a pinch hitter.
It's always awkward as a pitcher after that happens, because You did what you're supposed to do. You're not hoping to hit him in the hand and potentially injure him, but you are hoping to kind of tie him up and confuse him. So you did your job, but it also ended up in injuring a guy. So you can't be too happy about the result.
Now the situation at hand here, though, a 1-2 pitch, as it looks like our pinch hitter will be Jake Townsend, senior utility player, hitting 340. You've got him 1-2. You try to throw the strike in there, see if you can throw something by him. Guy just grabbed a bat off the bench. And that was a very nice pitch that was called low.
And McGowan, pretty good about keeping a level head. He's not one to really get upset when things don't go his way, especially calls like that. So
Swing and a miss. And a tough spot for Townsend. Not going to blame a guy for having to grab a bat mid at bat and come in and finish something after a 1-2 pitch. So
definitely not. And there we see that sinker on the outside edge of the zone, breaking back into the zone. It's really difficult for a batter, especially if they haven't seen that yet, to do anything with it.
McGowan, runners on second and third. He's trying to protect two guys here with a potential to get out of the inning. Carson Riley, flight out to center his last time up. Strike one, and that'll be outside for ball one, evens the count.
And it's difficult as a sidearm pitcher throwing that breaking ball because it breaks so much because of the way you throw it that sometimes you throw it exactly where you want to and it doesn't get called.
Found a way to get the call that time. Now 1-2.
And that sinker pitch has been working really well for him today.
Try to get the chase and a good block by Moss. 2-2. First base is open, but you're back to the top of the order if you lose Riley here. That one outside. Escapes out of Moss's glove. Nobody advancing. And the full count. Rolled over. It'll be Coney. Over to Baker, and the Tigers are out of the jam. McGowan comes in. It's the bunt, the strikeout, and the ground out. And we've played 3.5. Tigers still trail 3. We'll be back. Welcome back. Bottom of the fourth. Eric Lenwickle in for Concordia. 2.08 ERA in 13 innings pitched. The first one to Grant Anderson hits the back of the wall.
Now, I've seen Eric spelled with a C and a K, but I don't think I've ever seen it spelled with a CH at the end.
Gets Anderson to roll over to third. Warner steps up and makes the throw, and Anderson now 0 for 2 on the day.
Clark over at first, making sure to get out of the way of Anderson this time. I can imagine the first time it happened did not feel very good. He's not a small human being.
Yeah, both throws kind of taking Clark over into the runner's area there. Jack Henning, 0 for 1. Grounded out. Too short. This one sends a ball on a line, but it's going to drift foul.
It looked like it had a leg to go, but just barely hooks foul.
At this point, Trinity probably just needs some base runners. They had 2 hits in the first inning. And there's a base runner.
There it is.
They haven't had a hit since. Been hit by the pitch twice. They've had a couple of walks.
And we talked about the drawbacks of a bullpen day for a team, but one of the benefits is the lineup doesn't get used to the pitcher. They're seeing a new arm with new movement, new timing every inning. So there's no scouting. There's no, hey, this is his weaker pitch. When he does this, he's going to throw this. There's no sort of at-bat to at-bat scouting. You just kind of have to go with what you can in that one inning.
Jack Spence. He pops that one up on the infield, and there's going to be 2 down as Logan Smith comes over and makes the catch. Yeah, you keep the opposing team a little off balance to that way. And you've got Cal Coney. Struck out in his first appearance.
Hoping to continue to get more base runners here, get something going for Trinity, as they very much so need it.
Now throw back. And you see Henning. So he broke, then stopped, and then scampered back just in front of the throw.
Looked like maybe he was going for the steal, but mistimed.
Tony will send this one up the middle, and it'll be taken by Smith. And that will do it for the bottom of the fourth. We head to the fifth, still 4-1. Top of the fifth and top of the order here for Concordia. Colton McDaniel, 1 for 2 on the day. Singled to center in his last time up. Grounded out to the pitcher his first time. McGowan still out there for Trinity after he came in with a marvelous inning. Gonna ask him to make sure. I believe that one was for come set.
So 2 back-to-back sliders for McGowan. It's been working very well for him. And that's a difficult pitch. We were talking about it earlier. The sidearm slider, it almost seems to start behind the back of a righty hitter. So it's really difficult to see it. And then he comes back with a sinker like that does the opposite, and it just confuses the hitter so much.
Still ahead 0-2. Tries to get the slider across.
And at the angle that we are at on this broadcast, the slider doesn't seem to be moving deceptively as much as it is. But from the position of the batter, it's got some run.
Fouled back to the screen. And the 1-2. Left on the inside part of the plate and ripped foul.
And there's that slider that he throws on the inside. But that one, I think it was accidental that it didn't have that much run. But the batter recognized it and thought it was going to break back in, and then it didn't. So it ended up working out for McGowan.
We'll see if he goes back to the sinker. That one will be floated into center. Woodward will take a couple of gather steps and make the recorded out. So a pretty solid start here for McGowan. Tiring all 4 batters that he's seen. Now he'll have Samuel Ortiz. It's kind of mirrored what McDaniel has done. Grounded out to the pitcher in his first at-bat and then got a single in his second. That one gave him an RBI and kept the inning alive. Ultimately for Kalen Clark to hit his 2-run home run, and that is why Concordia is up 4-1. All that happening back in the third. And the 2-0. Make it 3-0. Just right down the middle. And I don't think he's going to be able to get that one by again. Now the toughest pitch. They are going to award a ball 4 for non-engagement.
McGowan did not look happy about that call there. He's definitely a little bit frustrated. Thought he could maybe come back and get an out there.
He was a little frustrated too because the runner had stepped out. I think he was trying to say, I'm engaging, but there's nothing to engage with.
Right.
Nonetheless, it'll be Ortiz on first and Kalen Clark. He's going to roll that one through the right side, and it'll be 2 aboard. And a good piece of hitting. Kind of wonder if Baker was able to play his normal position. Nah, it probably still gets through. It's kind of perfectly placed. And now 2 aboard.
And it's frustrating because in that last at bat, you get behind in the count, so you don't want to let that happen again. But I think we saw a little bit of an overcorrect from McGowan there, where instead of continuing to try to put the ball in places where it's difficult to hit, he kind of left it a little bit too much plate there.
Hey, welcome back to the plate. Landon Heil, number 3 in the nation in hits, although 2nd in his conference. And for the 2nd time today, he's down on strikes, so 0 for 3 today. And there are 2 down. Now switch over to Jet Warner, who's 1 for 1, but he's been aboard both times he's come to the dish. Got a walk in his first at-bat and a single in his second. And the 0-1 for Warner. Missed down low.
So it looks like those last 2 were not the sort of two-seam running pitch that we've seen. It's more of a sinker.
Goes back to it and comes up empty. Now ahead in 1 and 2.
So it's good that he can work with 3 pitches here. He has the two-seam that can run in on their hands, the sinker that sort of dies, and then that really nice sidearm breaking ball.
This one lifted out into right field. Henning will make the diving catch, and that will end the inning. And Tigers allowed 2 aboard. Oh, McGowan still unfazed through 2 in his relief appearance. And a great catch there, looking back into the sun for Jack Henning. And we'll be back for the bottom of the 5th in just a bit. Thomas Greenlee's in. And he'll face Mike Listina. And so far, the 9-for-9 challenge working here for Concordia. This will be their 5th pitcher of the day. Everybody getting through their inning. And unscathed for the most part, except for the home run allowed to Thomas Moss back in the first inning. Listina followed by Champness and Woodward. And I'm curious if we'll start to see any type of substitutions.
I would imagine that as we get later into this game, Coach Scannell, he does like to switch up the lineup midway through the game, give guys opportunities, especially in big moments like this. So I would imagine that we will see some sort of switch up in the lineup.
Team's on a flight tomorrow, and then at Barry on Thursday and Friday. And then they're back in Texas, heading up to Austin for Tuesday's game against Concordia. So the home and home completed 7 days from now. And then at Southwestern on Friday and Saturday of next week. So the leadoff walk to Listina was going to allow Champness come aboard, nobody out. Champness flied out to center field his first time up.
Oh, wow, as we're looking at it here, I didn't realize, but the Tigers will not be back playing a home game until April 18th.
On the road this weekend, and then on the road next weekend for our conference game against the Pirates. That'll be fouled off. And then we get Sewanee. The Tigers come in on April 18th, doubleheader Saturday, and a single game Sunday. And I believe that is the identical schedule for softball as well. I believe Sewanee comes in for softball playing the Saturday-Sunday doubleheader as well. So not getting any favors from the schedulers. Multiple events happening at the same time. It always feels like softball and baseball would be the easy ones because you should, in theory, be able to do a home and home at the same time. So, like, if you're home against Southwestern, then one team would be on the road against Southwestern. So baseball could be at home, softball be on the road, or vice versa. And then that would make it to where you don't have to do multiple setups and everything else at the same time because, for the teams it doesn't really matter, but for the institution's support staffs and everything else, that's where you start to run into things. As that one misses wildly, and it's going to allow Listina to go to second.
That one definitely slipped out.
And so now the Tigers, runner in scoring position, nobody out. Champness can find a way to get aboard. Could have something going here in the fifth. That'll miss. Count runs full. Back to the top of the order after Champness. It's a chopper over to third. Warner looks back Listina and gets the out, so it'll be one down for Woodward. And Woodward stepping in 0 for 1 today, his average down to .463. Missed a bit of time early on in the season. Seems to be fully back. That's going to spike into the ground, and another 90 feet for free for Listina. Concordia scored a run roughly in this manner. We'll see if Trinity can get one back the same way.
And we've talked about it before, the wheels that Listina has. So a dangerous guy to have over there on third base. If anything really squirts by, danger of cutting this lead down to only 2.
I believe somebody tried to throw a baseball back behind home plate to the other side. Regroup and do this again. That one will miss low. Now 2-0. And a called strike. Woodward doesn't like it. I don't know who's got the best eye on the team, but Woodward's definitely in that category. Be in the running for it.
Don't see a lot of bat on the shoulder strikes for Woodward. Pretty much any time it's a called strike on Woodward, it's because he swung through one.
7 strikeouts on 54 at-bats this year. That'll be a chopper. Should score the run. They'll go over to first, get the out. And you see Lucina scoring. And there will be 2 down. But the Tigers make this a 4-2 game. So sometimes you just have to chip away at it. Thomas Moss. It's 1 for 1, responsible for that run that came in the first. And sails up and in. He walked in his other plate appearance, so been aboard both times. And the 2-0 will catch the corner.
It would be nice to see Moss get aboard for the Tigers and get something going here with 2 outs in the 5th. Be a nice way to contrast Concordia's ability to get runs with 2 outs. Get a little 2-out rally here going.
I believe he just swung through. No, they changed the count there. So it is 2-2. And the strikeout for Greenlees, and that'll take us to the 6th. But the Tigers able to scratch across one more. They cut the lead to 4-2. And we'll be back in just a bit. Welcome back. Top of the 6th inning. McGowan's still out there. Hasn't gone through the order just yet, so Bo didn't score. Will step in. First time against McGowan. He's 0 for 1 with a walk against other Tiger pitching. He was the last batter that faced our starter, Noah Flanagan. And he'll ground out here against McGowan, who's looked really sharp. So he has a chance to kind of get through. Logan Smith will be officially the last batter that has not seen McGowan yet. So you got a sidearm pitcher. Last man through that has not seen him. Townsend's on deck. He stayed in the game after replacing Hunter Smith. And that's going to be a base hit back up the middle. And there's a man aboard for Townsend as he comes up. But Townsend only really got 2 pitches before he struck out in that grab a bat and come spell your guy appearance. So now a chance for him to dig in.
And we'll see it here, but here is the difficult thing about being a sidearm pitcher is you have a lot of success when you face guys that haven't seen you, but once they've seen you a couple times, maybe once or twice, that's why you typically don't see sidearm guys going 4 or 5 innings, because after the lineup starts to see you, they start to recognize the pitches, and sidearm guys typically throw a little slower, so it gives the hitters a little bit more time to react, and we'll see if McGowan is able to combat that here. He's got some pretty good stuff. So
Townsend in the 8th spot. As we said, he took over for Hunter Smith back in the 4th. Came in on a 1-2 count. And that's the count he's going to have now. $17 for 51, 333 on the season. And the 1-2. Missing, clearly inside, and I'll get past Moss, who does a good job of corralling, but Logan Smith able to take a free 90 feet down to second. That takes away the double play ball. Or the traditional double play ball. And the 2-2. That one lined at Baker, who makes the catch, fires over to second. And that's the untraditional double play. And the Tigers are out of the inning. Get one more look at it here. The hot shot over to Baker makes the leaping catch. And heads up play over to Champness, who just gets the foot in the foot in the ball ahead of Smith coming back. That'll take us to the bottom of the 6th. Tigers down 2. Bottom of the 6th, Nico Young in for the Tornadoes. Hoping to find a way to get a hold here in this situation. The Tornadoes up 4-2. And Will Baker, who just made that absolutely fantastic play out in the field, stepping in and second pitch swinging, finds a way to get on base. I'm sure that'll go down as a single. And would be the second hit of the day for Baker if they do award him that.
Back-to-back, really nice plays for Baker. Gets the double play in the field and then comes out and pretty quickly gets on base.
And so the Tigers board with Baker's single. It'll bring up counterpoint on the cornerstone of the infield, Grant Anderson. Time called somewhere around the field. Now it looks like everybody's all set. Anderson still over 400 despite being 0 for 2 today. He's grounded out to short, and then he grounded out to third. The only thing he's got left is the ground out to Joey over there in the coach's box. That one fouled off. Four runs on 6 hits, no errors, 4 left on for Concordia. 2 runs on now 3 hits, and 3 left on for Trinity. Do have Baker at first, nobody out. Worked well for them in the 5th. They were able to get the leadoff man on, and he came around to score. Anderson behind now 1-2.
So we'll see the 2-strike approach from Anderson here. He's typically pretty good about having a good 2-strike approach. Changing up a little bit to make sure he doesn't give an easy out. You see it there. Lays off of the ball.
A little bit high, evens the count. Wonder if that's a waste pitch to see. Now you bring it back down low in the zone. And that'll be lifted into right. Heil comes in, makes the catch. 1 down. Anderson probably have that average drop below 400 now on the season. Be 0 for 3 on the day. Jack Henning will step in.
Not the worst thing in the world to hear. Oh no, my average is dropping below 400 on the year.
It did. It dropped down to 397.
Still a very impressive number.
It's not too bad. Henning looking to raise his average on the year. Could do so significantly. He's just 3 for 12 on the season.
And these midweek games have to be good for a hitter like Henning and for the coaches, because I know they want to give him more opportunities to improve his production and give him a chance to earn a spot in the everyday lineup. And so these midweek games are good for a player like Henning because it gives them the opportunity to say, this is why I should be a weekend starter.
Young trying to test Will Baker. No, he's fast. I don't think Will Baker is going to steal a base, but
I can't imagine.
Henning will foul it off. 1-2.
I can't imagine they're looking for Baker to steal, because in a position like this, you don't want to risk losing your very scarce on-base runners. You want to try and get something going, give Henning the opportunity to move up Baker instead of trying to risk getting him thrown out. Now it's 2 outs.
And that could get him going. That one into the gap. It'll go all the way to the wall. Baker rounding third, but he's going to hold up there, and it's going to be – no, he's going to actually try to come around and score, and he makes it. So it looked like he held up. And we'll take a replay look at it here in just a second. It's going to be an RBI double for Jack Henning. Great location. Sends it out into the gap. And we'll take a look at Baker here. I thought he was holding up. No, he never held up. He was going the whole way.
I don't think
fortunate that maybe that throw was offline, but it brings the Tigers within one. The runner in scoring position here for Jack Spence.
I don't think anything in the world could have stopped Jack Baker from coming home there. He wanted to get home.
Got very small screens that we can look at to see different things, and trying to watch where he was going, and it looked like the way he angled his way in, I thought maybe he was kind of holding off. That'll be popped up and playable. That'll be Ortiz over at second, making the out. So now 2 down with a runner on second. Or Calfani Coney, unless we see a pinch hitter. No, it'll be Coney. Sometimes we just have to guess if a guy is a little slow to the dish, what's happening out there. Coney 0 for 2. Did get a bat on the ball in his last at-bat. Grounded out to short. Young quickly ahead, 0-2. Trying to get out of the inning. Surrendered a run already. That'll miss high. To get Coney to chase, but nothing doing.
Good
Counts
job.
Run even.
Yeah, good job to lay off of that one. Similar to what we were talking about with Grant Anderson. Funny Coney, good 2-strike approach here. Not chasing a breaking ball away.
Goes back to second. And you can see Henning just back in time.
And in a situation like that, I hate to do it, but I think I have to agree with Cole. I don't see the point of that
2
pickoff
strikes.
move. 2 strikes, 2 outs. Probably not going to be running.
Now went into left field. Gets down. Henning will come across and tie the game. And an RBI for Calfani Coney. And we got a brand new ball game.
And I have to think that pickoff move actually had a part to play in that, because you had Coney in a position where he was a little bit taken off guard by the quick succession of strikes. He was down in the count, kind of almost seemed to be getting overpowered, but the pickoff move gave him a chance to kind of reset.
Hey, 0-2. You missed on 2 chase pitches, but they weren't particularly close. And then you throw over to second, don't get an out there. And then it comes back into the zone, and I think Coney, like you said, just had a chance to kind of breathe a little bit. And
it gave him confidence that they didn't think they could beat him at the plate. They had to try and get an out elsewhere, and now he's got a lot of confidence. Instead of thinking, I'm behind in the count, he's thinking, they're throwing away from me. Stina is quickly ahead in the count here.
Now up 3-0. And maybe Paul Nathanson, the happiest guy on the Tiger dugout, so that will erase a loss potentially from him. He would have been saddled with that, having given up the 4 runs today. Now the Tigers 2 aboard. Here's Young, maybe unable to get out of the inning with 2 outs, much in the same way that Trinity pitchers have been doomed all year. And it will be a pitching change, so we'll take a break and be right back. Welcome back. It'll be Jake Runnels in 2.77 ERA, 13 innings pitched, 1-1 strikeout to walk ratio, and he's got number 1, Cam Champness, in front of him, and he starts Champness off with a strike. Champness flew out to center and grounded out to third in his 2 plate appearances. And you got Woodward, top of the order, awaiting on deck. You think if Champness could keep something going here, Trinity's in a great position. But he quickly falls behind 0-2 with that swing and miss.
And Runnels utilizing his breaking ball. 2 really good back-to-back breaking balls. Fooled Champness here, and we saw him working on that when he was warming up. It looked like he went back to it there, but a little bit higher in the zone, maybe trying to get Champness to lay off it, thinking it might break out of the zone, and then but Champness able to fight it off.
Does stay alive. But he's down on strikes there, and that will take us to the 7th inning. Runnels comes in, extinguishes the flame, but we've got a tie game. It's 4-4. Trinity striking back here with 2 runs in the 6th, And we'll be back for the 7th. Top of the 7th inning, and it is McGowan still out there. First pitch swinging. Over to Champness, and still able to make the play. Oh, for a moment there, I thought the turf monster struck again. Able to come up with that one and still beat the runner. That was Carson Riley. So he beats the catcher down to first. Now back to the top of the order for Concordia. Colton McDaniel, 1 for 3, but flew out against McGowan back in the 5th. And we'll see how second time through this Tornado offense fares against McGowan. Carson Riley was the first, wasn't technically the first batter to face him, but we're going to give Riley the benefit of the doubt of being the first one to see a full at-bat against them. As Hunter Smith was hit by a pitch on a swinging attempt. Townsend came in to replace him and struck out. And then McGowan got Riley out and McDaniel to fly out to end the inning. No, excuse me. Riley was the last out of the inning. Got Logan Smith out on the bunt attempt. 4th inning seems like it was weeks ago at this point. I've managed to make it all the way here to the 7th. 2-2, 1 out. And the pitch to McDaniel will miss. We're in the count full. See action just in case down there on the left of your screen, the Tiger bullpen. And a swing and a miss. McGowan has McDaniel down on strikes. That'll bring Samuel Ortiz up. Second baseman, 1 for 2 today. Drew a walk back in the 5th.
So far, McGowan, second time facing Concordia lineup. He's done pretty well.
This will be lifted into right, and Henning's going to let that one fall. Kind of agree with the assessment there. If you dive for that one and miss,
sort of a repeat of what we saw earlier from Henning.
Yeah, and if it takes any type of a bounce and gets to the wall, that's pretty much an inside the park home run.
Right.
So you let that fall in front of you with 2 outs.
Coach Scannell seemed like he thought he might be able to get there. We heard him on the mic.
Pretty sure Coach Scannell thinks that you can get to any ball that's hit.
If it leaves the bat, you can get there.
Kalen Clark got a single off of McGowan back in the 5th through the right side. Had a home run back in the 3rd and popped out to 2nd in his first appearance back in the 1st. His 2-run shot no longer part of the difference maker. Trinity's been able to claw back and tie this game. McGowan over to first. Ortiz back in relatively easily. See the wind picking up. That one missing. Well, getting the call inside.
Good frame job by Moss behind the dish.
It's the best miss we've seen today.
Unfortunately, he will not be able to call for ABS review.
And the 1-2. Swing and a miss, and have a day. John McGowan has come in. He's thrown 4 innings, allowed just 3 hits and a walk. He's gotten the Tigers out of a jam and then thrown very well. That'll take us to the stretch. We'll be back in just a bit. Welcome back. Bottom of the 7th. Runnels still out there for Concordia. Came in, got the last out, a strikeout of Champness. Now he's top of the order, and that's going to be a shot right to the shortstop. And more tough luck here for Caleb Woodward as he's going to now be 0 for 3 on the day. Had a ground out RBI back in the 5th for himself. It was hit by a pitch in the 3rd. And just can't quite seem to get anything through into the outfield just yet. 1 for 2, Thomas Moss. Home run back in the 1st. Takes a breaking ball for ball 1. Tigers and Concordia will do this again Tuesday night next week up in Austin. That'll roll foul. And that'll be it for their series with each other. These two teams that kind of paced the SCAC last year. Where St. Thomas tried to make a run in the conference championship. That one sent over to first and picked up, and beating Moss to the bag is going to be Cale Clark. It'll be 2 down. So back to Will Baker. Kind of got things rolling for Trinity in the last half inning with a single through the right side. Came around and scored a run.
It looks like Concordia is putting on a little bit of a shift for Baker, as sometimes he tends to pull the ball a little bit. Have the shortstop playing a little bit closer to second. The second baseman playing sort of in the middle there.
Did hit the ball through the left side for his double back in the first, so he can go the opposite way. And he does so here.
Does it there.
But once again, Logan Smith all over it. And that is a quick 1-2-3 inning here for Runnels. And they'll take us to the 8th inning, still tied at 4. We'll go back, top of the 8th inning. McGowan's still out there once again, and he once again facing Concordia's best hitter and Landon Heil. 0 for 3 today, though. 2 strikeouts and a foul out. This one ripped at Grant Anderson, and it'll be through for a base hit. And that's the first hit of the day for a man who's got the 3rd most hits in all of Division III, Landon Heil. And I was kind of curious to see if that would prompt a visit here, but nothing so far yet from Dave Smith as Jet Warner steps in, 1 for 2. His appearance against McGowan so far, he flew out to right field.
I think based on the body of work that McGowan has put together so far, give him at least into this at-bat to see what he does.
This one lifted. That'll be another F9 for Warner. Now you're just a pitch away from a double play, and you're completely out of this. And you start wondering if he tries to finish it out. Bo didn't score. 0 for 2. His last at bat, he grounded out to short. Walked before that. Chopper over to short. It'd be Champness over to Coney for 1, over to Baker for 2, and it's a 6-4-3 inning double play here in the top of the 8th inning. Have a day for John McGowan. He came in 5 innings pitched on the season. He's now thrown 5 in this game, and they've all been scoreless. We'll be back for the bottom of the 8th in just a bit. Bottom of the 8th, and it'll be Grant Anderson stepping in here for the Tigers. 0 for 3 today. Average just below 400. He'd love to get it above. Take strike 1.
Yeah, you'd love to see him get his first hit of the day here, get something started for the Tigers. They tied it up a couple innings ago, but since then haven't had a ton of production.
Concordia sticking with Runnels. Came in back in the 6th inning. Got the Tornadoes out of a jam. The strikeout to end the inning, and then 1, 2, 3 in the 7th. So sort of like the way that Tigers have used McGowan. They're just going to roll out and try to see how far he can lengthen the game. The 1-2. This one floated into center. And coming in and making the catch will be McDaniel. There'll be 1 down. That'll bring up Jack Henning, and he's 1 for 2 today. Bumps his average back up to 308.
Yeah, we were talking about Henning earlier and looking for an opportunity to say, make his case for getting more opportunities in the future, and this is the perfect place to do it. You know, Coach Scannell loves to put guys in a position where they can make a big impact on a game, and earn a spot in the weekend lineup.
He doubled to the 365 sign out in left center. His last time up, drove in Will Baker with that one. Then he came around and scored to tie the game. This one's popped up on the infield. And making the play will be Warner, and there will be 2 down. So Spence in the 6th spot. If he can get anything going, I don't want to see. Tigers don't have a whole lot of hits, just 5 hits on the day. They're able to capitalize where they could. It looks like we'll have a pitching change before we get to Spence. And we'll take that with them real quick and be back in just a moment. Two down here in the 8th inning, and they bring in the left-hander Chase North to face Spence. And Tim Scannell says, "Hold up, let me throw in some Pierce Matthews for you." So Matthews the pinch hit from the right side. As North misses with a fastball. We'll see if Matthews gets anything going here. It is the 8th inning for Matthews. He's been electric in the 8th inning in his career times.
That's when he likes to put the ball in play.
Swings through that one, evens the count. He's had some big 8th inning home runs in his career. He looks at strike 2. Maybe he's just building up the anticipation here. And the 1-2. Fouled off. Hit the pole and came back into play. I'll do the 1-2 once again. And he gets it by him this time. Chase North comes in, closes out the bottom of the 8th. It'll send us to the 9th. We're still tied at 4 here in San Antonio. Top of the ninth, and when you know it, he's back out there again. John McGowan, after coming in, he's thrown 5 so far. See if he can do anything here in the ninth inning. He's got Logan Smith, first batter he faced, all the way back in the 4th inning. Got him to ground out on a bunt, and then shut down the Tornadoes from that point forward with 2 aboard. Logan Smith did get a hit in his last at-bat against them. And this one will be floated into center, and that'll be another base hit, so he's now 2 for 4. They've got the leadoff man aboard here in the 9th. Do you see Callan Singh Hanya as we have the pinch hitter, Pierce Matthews. He'll take over in left. Singhania over in right for Jack Henning. And Townsend swings through the first one, and the throw down to second is safe. So a stolen base changes the complexities of this game pretty quickly. And we've kind of got to look at the replay here, and it looks like Smith able to get in just ahead of this. You can see it from the center field view. And then he holds on to the bag. So just in ahead of the throw. Another foot might have had him. That one's going to be sent over to Coney at second. So the runner advances again to third. Right. McGowan's been in this spot before. Runner at third. 1 down. Got the strikeout. And got a pop fly. So he's got Carson up next. And that's Carson Riley, the catcher.
They have to be careful here because this is how the Tornadoes originally took a lead early on in this game, was runner on third. Be careful not to let one squeak by.
And this looks like it might be it for McGowan. So he'll be left with a runner on third that he's responsible for. You can see the dugout coming out to greet him on a job well done. And he's hoping that this man in relief can spare him from taking potential loss here if that run were to score. It'll be Azordigan coming in for the Tigers. And we'll rejoin you after he warms up. It'll be Matthew Azordigan to come in. 1 down. Runner at third here, top of the 9th inning. He replaces John McGowan, who went 5 and a third. More than what he's done all season coming into this game. And now he needs a little help from his teammate. So he's got Carson Riley up at bat. 0 for 3 on the day. Fly out and 2 ground outs. So he's put it in play all 3 times. That might be enough to do the damage, but got the infield in for Trinity. And the first pitch misses outside for ball 1. So you can see the alignment. Coney and Champness playing to cut off the run at home. That opens up the opportunities, though. Takes away some of the angles. The ball can get through here for Riley if he does put it in play. So he's gone to both short and second base on his 2 ground outs. And the 1-1. Breaking ball, swung through and missed. 1-2. I feel like Trinity pitchers have an excellent 1-1 pitch, and then it's finding that 2-strike pitch that's been troubling all year.
I agree. And I think part of that is sometimes they end up using their 2-strike pitch on 1-1.
And Matthias Ridding in behind the dish. Making the stop on that one. Keeping the runner halted at third. Logan Smith over there for the Tornadoes. And here both dugouts starting to get alive now. The 2-2. Swung on and fouled straight back.
Bit of a challenge pitch there with 2 strikes. Fastball somewhat up in the zone. Not in on the hands. He threw it away. So it was in the away part of the zone, sort of challenging Riley to see, hey, what are you going to do with this?
2-2 outside. Ridding tried to frame it in, but I think that was 6 inches too far off the plate. And now you've got a full count. You do have first base open. That would kind of really force you into a double play situation. The 3-2. Also outside. And again, Tigers just don't have a 2-strike pitch that they can get across. I believe it's just been plaguing them all season long.
Part of that is you have a runner on third, right? So you don't want to give him something that's
You're not going to
hittable.
spike anything down in the dirt.
Yeah, you're not going to put something that's really far down in the dirt, but you also don't want to give him a pitch in the zone to hopefully get a backwards K, and because anywhere in the outfield and it's a run.
And back to the top of the order with McDaniel here, but I don't know. This might be it for Azortigan. So far, it looks like just conversation, maybe a defensive alignment, because you've got options here. You can still cut off the run at home if you want to go that route for the out. And you've got double play possibility as well. For reference, McDaniel has grounded out back to the pitcher. He's singled to center. He's flown out to center, and he's struck out. So you've got a guy that hits the ball up the middle. So if you want the double play, potentially there. So again, we'll stay in. Logan Smith on third, Carson Riley over on first. And now more waiting. Yes.
It makes you wonder what the meeting was about, what they were talking about potentially. The approach here.
Could be the approach, could be more of a defensive alignment, potentially. We still got the guys, for now, playing in. which is interesting because I think that you've got a real chance here for a double play ball. And it looks like now Coney and Champness will filter back out into double play position. So now you've got showing bunt. Interesting. Taking for the strike.
This is a difficult spot here because if you throw bunt, then if he lays it down, now just to come up from the first base position would be Baker most likely fielding it, then trying to make the play at home, which is a really difficult play to make. And then if he's reacting to the bunt, then might not be in the best position to react to the double play ball. So it's a really difficult position to put your defense in. We'll see what they do here.
The 2-0. And he pulled back again. I didn't think he pulled back on the first one. So we'll see if it is 3-1. No, it is 2-1. So he did avoid, did get a strike on the first one. So 2-1. But he's still up there showing bunt. I don't think it would be a squeeze. And at this point, I think you just got to throw the strike.
I think
3-1.
You just have to hit the bat and hope that your defense is well aligned enough to make the play at home.
Worst case, you load the bases and you get a force out. But you do that against the guy that's 2 for 3 on the day in Samuel Ortiz. The 3-1. Bunt, laid down. Zordigan is going to go to first, so the run does come across. And Concordia's got the 5-4 lead. So excellent job here from Colton McDaniel. Let's take another look.
Yeah, absolutely perfectly placed bunt, exactly where you want it in that position, because Baker, objectively, you're more athletic of the two fielders coming to get it, isn't able to get over to it. So now you force Zordigan to field it, and I don't think there's any way that he can make that play at home.
Yeah, and it was softly done enough. I think if it was just a little bit more in that one, into right field. No, excuse me. Taken by Baker over at first base. And that'll get the Tigers out of the inning, but not before they concede the go-ahead run here. You see this one is actually hit over to Coney. Again, we've got very limited view. And that'll get the Tigers out of the jam. We'll be back for the bottom of the ninth. One of these teams either scores a run, we move on, or the game's over any other way. We'll be back. Welcome back. Bottom of the ninth inning here.
It is go time here for the Tigers.
It'll still be Chase North for Concordia and Calfani Coney leading us off here for the Tigers. 1 for 3, and that was an RBI single in his last plate appearance back in the 6th inning. Takes strike 1. And potentially the most important at-bat here for Trinity, getting the lead runner on. They found some success with it today. And that one finding a strike call.
Quickly finds himself behind here, 0-2. Definitely wasn't expecting to be 0-2 there.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, and Chase North has got 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th.
It's a quick first out for North. It looks like all fastball, maybe 1 breaking ball. Second one was a breaking ball, so pretty good switching up of pitches there. Fastball, breaking ball, fastball again. Throw off the timing of Coney.
Defensive substitutions here as Lustina steps in. McDaniel moves over to left field. And then Klaus Kissamore over into center field. And that one did not get a strike call. So now, Lustina ahead in the count. And the 3-0 in for a strike. Or excuse me, 2-1, now 2-2. Now the count runs full.
I think the idea there was to try and go up in the zone to fool him into thinking he was a breaking ball. And just a little bit too high.
And North gets the strikeout of Lustina, and he struck out back-to-back hitters here in the 9th inning. And he struck out everybody he's faced so far. Last hope for the Tigers will be Cam Champness. He's 0 for 3 on the day. Struck out in his last appearance. Takes strike 1. And we're all set once again. 1-1 to Champness. That misses in. Now 2-1. Swing and a miss. It probably would have been ball 3 and makes it 2-2. And the Tigers are down to their last strike.
Going high there to fool the potential breaking ball works there. Went up in the zone, got the swing and miss. We've seen the popularity of that pitch actually grow in the past 5-6 years. It's become a very popular strikeout pitch, and even now people are starting to use it early in the count.
He followed up with an outside fastball like he did against Lustina.
It's been mostly fastballs from North this inning, just kind of challenging Trinity's hitters, throwing fastballs in the zone.
Champness will pop this one up, and that should just about do it. Giving way to Warner is going to give way to Logan Smith, who makes the catch, and that will do it. Tigers fall to 13-10, matching the total amount of losses they had all of last season when they went 41-10. Concordia moving to 17-10 on the season. Tigers will next be in action in just a few hours, basically, and Thursday afternoon in Rome, Georgia, as they take on the Berry Vikings. And thank everybody for tuning in. And thanks to Michelle and Cole and Ariel for their help in the control room and running camera. And as always, thanks to Shepard for your insight. And no thanks to Cole, who had class tonight. He'll be back, as will the Tigers here in mid-April, when we're next on with the baseball team on Tiger Network. So everybody have a great night. Thanks for tuning in, and take care.